What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Wizards Hoops Labs. The Washington Wizards just made one of the most important decisions of the rebuild. And surprisingly, it wasn't a draft pick or a blockbuster trade. It was actually a decision to do nothing. When rumors started circulating that the Golden State Warriors were interested in acquiring Anthony Davis, many people assumed the Washington Wizards would at least listen. After all, this is a team starting to contend. Anthony Davis is in his 30s, and if another team is offering future assets, why wouldn't you pick up the phone? Instead, reports came out that Washington isn't interested in trading Anthony Davis and isn't even entertaining offers. At first glance, this might sound confusing. When you look deeper, this actually might be the clearest sign that the Washington Wizards finally have a plan. For years, Washington was stuck in the middle. They weren't rebuilding, they weren't contending. They were constantly chasing the play-in tournament while sacrificing long-term flexibility. Different front offices made different decisions, and it often felt like there was a consistent direction. Now, compared to what we've seen over the last year, Will Dawkins has accumulated young talent, stockpiled draft pick, and he's remained patient instead of making desperate moves. And now, instead of reacting to every rumor that appear online, the Wizards are showing discipline. That's something the franchise hasn't always been known for. Think about the timing. The Warriors reportedly wanted to reunite LeBron with Anthony Davis. That immediately created speculation and around Washington. A few years ago, the Wizards might have jumped into good negotiations simply because a big-name franchise called. Instead, they shut the conversation down. That tells me they're operating on their own timeline, not someone else's. And honestly, that's exactly what rebuilding teams should do. Does that mean Anthony Davis is untouchable forever? Of course not. Every player has a price. If someone offered an unbelievable package full of premium young players and multiple first-round picks, you'd have to consider it. But that's different from shopping him around because the internet says you should. The Wizards aren't making emotional decisions anymore, they're making calculated ones. That's a huge difference. Anthony Davis also brings something to this roster that this roster would desperately need. Experience, championship knowledge, elite defense, and professional habits. We have a locker room full of young players trying to learn how to win. Having someone who's been through deep playoff runs matters. Young stars don't just need playing time, they need examples. Now that doesn't mean the roster is complete, far from it. The Washington Wizards still have one major weakness that needs to be addressed for next season: depth, specifically veteran depth. The young core has plenty of potential, but every successful rebuilding team eventually reaches to a point where it needs experienced role players who understand winning basketball. Not stars, not players demanding 30 shots a night, just professionals who defend, communicate, rebound, and keep the offense organized. That's why free agency becomes so important. Instead of chasing another headline, Washington should be targeting affordable veterans who fill specific roles. The first type of player they need is a defensive wing, someone capable of guarding the opponent's best perimeter scoring every night. Young teams often lose close games because they don't have reliable defenders on the perimeter. Adding a veteran who embraces that role could immediately improve the defense. Second, they could use another 4 spacing shooters. Basketball today is all about spacing. If defenders can pack the paint, life becomes much harder for your younger players. A reliable 3-point shooter forces defenses to stay honest and creates driving lanes for everyone. Finally, another veteran big wouldn't hurt either. Anthony Davis has battled injuries throughout his career, so having quality front court depth is simply a smart roster management. You never want your season to fall apart because one player misses time. Looking across the league, the best front offices always aren't winning the biggest trades. They're constantly winning the margins, finding undervalued role players, signing veterans to team-friendly deals, and building complete rosters instead of collecting famous names. That's exactly where the Washington should be focused. Another thing that stands out is confidence. The Wizards clearly believe in the direction they're heading. You don't refuse trade conversations unless you're comfortable with your long-term vision. That confidence wasn't always there. Now it seems like everyone inside the organization understands the plan. That's how sustainable contenders are built. The Oklahoma City Thunder followed the blueprint. Orlando followed that blueprint. Even teams like Houston show patience before accelerating their timeline. Washington finally appears to be doing the same. Will it guarantee success? No. But nothing in the NBA is guaranteed. Young players still have to develop, draft picks still have to hit, but for the first time in a long time, the process actually makes sense. Instead of chasing quick fixes, the Wizards are finally building something that can last. And honestly, that's far more exciting than making one splashy trade. Sometimes the biggest move a franchise can make is refusing to make one at all. But now comes the challenge. Can Washington finish the offseason by signing the right veterans to complete this young core? If they do, this rebuild could take another major step forward. So what do you think? Did the Wizards make the right decision by refusing to entertain Anthony Davis offers? And which free agent do you think Washington should be targeting to strengthen its roster before the season begins? Let me know down in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any more Wizards content. And I'll see you guys later.